My kid knows it's dangerous.
5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Live from the 93.7 The Ticket studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Inside the Huddle with Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Blackshirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
Good morning. This is Jay Foreman. Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Day after the Maryland, letdown. It's kind of like the, Harrison, I think the game is probably how it looks outside, right? No wind and just gloomy, right? And at 7, when you think like, okay, we'd like to have some sun here. We're live at 1040 O Street, 11th O Street, if you want to be lazy in your mind and thinking. Really sometimes doing the after game show, you're caught up in the moment, not in the moment. I mean, look, I didn't play. I didn't coach. I'm invested because I've played out there and gave, a lot to the university, as a lot of people have. And also in a lot of ways, excuse me, a lot of these players are doing, they're giving, they're trying to play hard. Probably not sometimes playing their best, obviously, but playing hard. And so you're caught up in it. And I think it's always good to kind of have 24 hours, maybe like periodically look back at the game. Not much change. I felt like, on the top of, just on the surface, right? When you just kind of just look at it like a top down view, you hold a very well-oiled machine, respected offense, dynamic offense, all the kind of catchwords and phrases you want to talk about Maryland's offense to 13 points. You should probably win every single time, no matter who you are, right? I mean, you got to think if it's you used to be able to say Northwestern or Purdue or something like that. They've all scored pretty. I mean, Purdue scored 49 points yesterday.
Northwestern, I think, put 24 on Wisconsin.
So again, we're kind of making the same point, right? They definitely didn't face. I don't think Minnesota's offense is as dynamic as Maryland's, and with especially quarterback play. And Wisconsin, you don't even know who's playing, right? And Maryland now is not playing. So, I guess that that's where we're at, and with saying that, the defense played definitely good enough to win. You forced 3 turnovers, right? 13 points. You hold them to 19 first downs. I would have probably liked to see them play a little bit better against the pass, but they, Maryland had 66 plays, 384 yards, and almost 80 of those came on the last drive, right? Where they went from, I think, around the 24 down to the 20. So just say 60 yards or whatever that lot came on that last drive. The only, probably eyesore for me defensively is, and it kind of goes into the passing yards, right? The 6 of 12 on third down. And Maryland was way too efficient on third and extremely long.
That's what I was just going to say. Right. I mean, they racked up 10 penalties for 92 yards. We're talking like 3rd and 15.
Yeah,
over and over.
And we're getting it with tons of room. And yeah, you could say pass rush to get there, but you got to cover. And there was one particular play. I think he ran a post corner comeback. He threw it from almost the other side of the hash and threw it without even kind of looking. Obviously, it's a timing route, but those are the routes that you want to sit on and try to break up. Now, I think in the second half, I think they played better, tighter coverage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and so when you're turning the ball over yourself offensively to 5 turnovers, and then you create 3, you're -2 in the turnover margin, and to lose by 3, you start to go back and look at what plays that. I think sometimes the lack of getting off the field on 3rd and extremely long in the first half put the offense kind of on its heels, because you're, even when you're stopping them on 3rd down, they're punting, they're pinning you down. I think Maryland had a couple really good punts where it kind of like just checked and was inside the 5, I think once or twice. So you can't really return it. We had 1 punt return for 6 yards. So there, the special teams battle was just kind of even Steven, nothing, it was like a pillow fight, and that's fine. That's the way it is sometimes, right? When you got 2 teams battling it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it just comes down to the little things, man. I think this game for this team, the details is so foreign to some of these guys that they're just, and you're at a hard time of the season, right? In the after game show, me and Nick were talking about, and Nick was saying, look, Husker fans was, just 2 weeks ago, we're thinking like possibly to win the West. I was like, man, pump the brakes, Jack. We got to get bowl eligible.
Mm-hmm.
Our most important game of the season, I was trying to get it out there. Granted, Matt Rule and those guys, tell them every week we not got to go 1-0. Wasn't going on the road to Michigan State. It's a very winnable game. It's going to be a tough game, but then you can really exercise demons by putting forth your best effort and winning that game. It's kind of like you free yourself. Well, you went up there and started sluggish, especially defensively, right? Mentally wasn't in there when you have 2 or 3 busts and 2 or 3 drives in the first 2 drives.
Mm-hmm.
You give up those explosive plays, and then you give them life, and then you come back against Maryland. Definitely an inspired defense. Definitely played good enough to win, and Maryland's good enough to get those third and longs, right? But I was just saying, to that rate, is Maryland, I would say, obligated and good enough to get 1 or 2 a game? Sure, and they would against a lot of teams, a lot of defenses. Quite frankly, I saw them do it against Ohio State once.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'd like to think they'd only be 2 times. When we're like at 3 or 4 times that they're getting 3rd downs or Nebraska should be getting off the field, then that kind of is something that you got to play a little bit better. But I don't think that was it was a part of the game, but not the end of it. The easy thing is to say, okay, look, our offense is booty, right? We scored 10 points. I mean, we can't dress up that ugly pig too much, right? I just look at the little things, the cause and effect, and with the defense, I think they could have just played a little bit better, but they played dang good. You got 3 turnovers. You held a high-powered offense to 13 points and 3 at 4 seconds left. And Maryland's athletic enough to where I could, you could say, oh yeah, the tackling wasn't as good, but you know what? Maryland will get you in space. They got skill position dudes. They got big, strong receivers that can make you miss tackles. That means that what I mean by that is the angle that you would have to take generally coming top down for a linebacker or a second level guy coming out of the zone against a Northwestern, even Purdue, throw Minnesota in there, is different than coming down against a Maryland. It's different than coming down against the Colorado.
Well, we saw it with Jones. I mean, he wasn't the biggest dude out there, but he had that one where he broke 1, 2, 3. I think Hartzog tried to get him with just like a body tackle. David Wright, same thing. Body, not wrapping up on him. It's
it's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he look, he's a big old kid. He's a grown man. And you ain't I call those bump tackling. His body is like a little bump, like you just bump each other, right?
Yeah. Well,
now,
you think that
ain't working?
Yeah.
Because one, he's a big kid, tall, physical, right? Strong. They running through that, man. And you got to wrap up. You got to put your body on them. You got to put your face on them. and you got to grab cloth and you got to bring these guys down. And the way that Maryland was trying to run they ran a couple of the routes to create. Well, here's what they did. And then next segment we'll get an offense. And Tony White had a really good plan for this. And so what Maryland did, we were prepared for. But what happened is, you see, and I've been on defense, and I only can talk from experience, right? And so I've been there before. And so when you have guys out there and you're playing, and Newsom was out, so that kind of, late, okay, we got some more guys playing that hadn't played a lot of reps, and you play different positions, and the continuity is just thrown off a little bit. I think they handled themselves pretty decent. Hartzog, I think, was banged up a little bit, right? I think even from the week before, so you never know whether he was practicing or not. But anyways, you're out there, and so what Maryland did was they hit Hartzog deep, right? Let's see how he bounces back. Do you just rinse it out of your system, come back? What do we do? Quick stop route, break the tackle, hit the sideline, strike up the band, boom, boom. That's Maryland, right? They see any type of weakness, they're going to keep going back at it. Then what they did was they tried to run like drag routes and understood in third and like a little bit longer that you're supposed to drop 8, right? You drop 8 because we got kind of dinged up a little bit when we were playing man, right? Okay, so we're going to drop 8, play top down, communicate. Well, they dropped back a little bit deeper, so then that lessens the pass rush, so that lets the guy come in the zone. So that means I'm even deeper from a linebacker position. So that gives you more room to create that angle for me to so the more top down and more deeper you get, you have to actually take a more rounded type of play entry, right? Because I got to beat you to like a step and a half to where you're potentially going to go. And then if I'm there in a regular 45-degree down right here, and you get in, and I don't get my head across the hip or across the bow, right? You know what I mean? This is serious. Well, then,
especially with their athleticism they had on offense,
right? So this is like a little minor detail. One that comes from experience because I've been there and I've done it. So I'm not going to get out here and say I never missed a tackle. I never did anything wrong. I'm not like that. The reason why I can talk so freely about it because I did.
You've been there.
I've been there. And it's just, Harrison, it is a matter of I wish I could put a timer on it because I'm just looking at the clock. A millisecond, a half a millisecond. It's literally like that. And it's just your mind works so fast and it's like, whoop, you're here. And as soon as your eyes go there, you're done. But then you're there and you slide off the tackle, right? And so you go from, I always talk about the setting the edge, alley filler, or essentially setting the edge, alley filler, and then run guy. So essentially you want to box a receiver in. A guy on the outside, a guy coming down the middle or fill in the gap, and somebody that's not letting them cut back so that's how you gang tackle. But what they did was if you're running the outside guy on to my side, which would be the backside of the coverage linebacker off, well, usually the corner is the edge, setting the edge, right? Because he's the outside guy. Well, he's gone. Well, guess who becomes the edge? Me. Guess where I got to come? 10 yards down. This dude's running freely, kind of a drag route. Yeah, I better be taking a wider angle, and my boy better be coming with me. So that's why coming out of your break and footwork is so crucial. So those are just little things, but look, man, the way the defense was able to answer the bell. Look, you got to think what they were able to do. It was after one of the Jeff Sims turnovers. I think it was the fumble or maybe the interception. Because I think he went fumble interception, right? I know he went interception.
He fumbled it and then he threw the interception.
Right. Well, first he went interception, fumble. Interception.
Yes.
I'm talking about the last two.
Yeah.
The defense comes back and forces the fumble in their own red zone. Here comes Chubba Purdy, and then we go down the field. Then obviously, that happens. So that's what lets you know the type of mentality that's in that room, where they're not going to, bend the knee and give up. And they put an emphasis on, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, you start to hear Matt Rule talk about, we're playing good defense. We got to force some more turnovers. We got to punch at the ball.
We're seeing it. We've even seen on, you want to go for it on 4th down. We need to set the line of scrimmage.
Right.
That was twice yesterday. They shut them down. I mean, that's a turnover.
Right. It is a turnover.
Downs right there.
It's a turn, and it's a sudden change play. And the thing about it with Nash, I mean, I remember I was watching the game, and it was a 4th and a long 1. So pretty much it was 4th and 2. Maryland's place kicker was, obviously coming in was so. But it was good enough for if you're a Power 5 kicker, that's a chip shot.
Yeah, if they would have gone for it, I would assume they make it.
Right.
It wasn't that deep.
But you had no problem running out there. And it wasn't like we're going to draw you off sides because you already called a timeout. Like, I remember talking, I forget who I was, I think Baron Miles, I was talking to him. I was like, man, that's disrespectful.
Oh, right. That's kind of what I thought. I'm not going to lie. Like on that 2nd, 4th down,
that's just
I was like, if these teams are going to pretty soon start paying attention on, is this a good decision to go for 4th down against this defense?
Right.
That's just been killing everyone.
And then you were so cocky to say, we're going to run, I call it pretty much a running back take. Just hand it off. And Nash said, no.
Not working.
They're not working. He blew it up but then when Nash was there, Javen Wright was there, and another person was there. Like, dude, that play was done.
Might have been Robinson too.
Yeah, somebody was there.
It was a hell of a game.
Yeah. And so, I think what the defense should do, you got to keep doing, and just say, hey, listen, we can play better, and the reason why you do it is just because you got to keep pushing them to play better. You got to believe they can, they're capable of playing better, and realistically, they are. And I'm sitting up here saying they can play better, and they only gave up 13 points. But I'm just talking about when we do Inside the Huddle, I'm trying to bring people inside the huddle, inside a defensive meeting. I've been there before, Harrison. When we pull up in a professional level, that means I'm feeding my kids and family off of this, where I know, looking over at the offensive guys with David Carr and those guys in that pretty much my whole career when I was there, is like, if we, in the NFL, the number is 17. You know what I mean? Hold a team to 17 or less. Then it's like, okay, then we get to blame the offense. I mean, that's like, I'm telling you, like, college is a team game because it kind of all goes together. NFL, you 1099. You there to do your thing within the team. If I play good, I'm cool. If the offense or the defense plays good, the coordinator's happy. Offensive coordinator, that's your problem. Yeah. Now you come together on Sundays, but everybody CYA, cover your you know what. That's really what it comes down to. So, but I know from experience of playing with that offense and knowing, they got some issues. They started to get better at times, but I knew, we had to hold them to, for sure, 20 or less, 17. We felt like, we did our job. And so, but even when we were doing that, right? Even when we were playing good defense, we were trying to get better at some of the little things that were trying to become a dominant defense. And towards the end of the year, it was one of those things we became dominant. We actually started to like when the games were tighter because we wanted to show off a little bit, right? And our ultimate payoff, Harrison, is when we went up to Pittsburgh. And I always tell this story because I'm so fond of Aaron Glenn, right? He's a defense coordinator now for Detroit. And I always felt like I had a bond with him because he was a professional, taught me how to be more of a pro. And so and Aaron really was just business-like, right? He was a corner, very detailed, didn't say much, he's a corner, and he'd only come in the huddle when he'd get mad because he had to start making tackles. Like we were losing the edge and he would come up there, bring his little butt up there and try to hit somebody. And he'd be like, come on now, this ain't what I'm here for. But we played Pittsburgh, and our offense had, I think it was like 36 yards in an NFL game, like of total. Like, granted, it was a ton of sacks, but
total yardage
at Pittsburgh.
Jeez, that's worse than Iowa.
Yeah, and they were playing that song that Pittsburgh likes to play. It literally since we got since the game started, because they were, first place sack. It was it was 3rd and 30 every single time. Punt team, get ready, right? And defensively, we played 101 snaps. And now, stat-wise, we gave up close to 500 yards, but it's only 4-point-something yards.
Yeah, if you're playing 101 snaps, it's not too bad.
Right.
Break it down.
And how we won is we won 21-17 and scored 2 defensive touchdowns and 4 turnovers, and we had another one. I think Marcus Coleman had a pick or something, and he got tackled at the 1, and we punched it in. And so we started to devil in the details and devil in the, we were just fine, swimming in quicksand. You know what I'm saying? And so I think this is a growing opportunity for some of those guys on the team, because the foundation that you're doing, because a lot of the guys are coming back, right? Or, can have eligibility. I think Luke Reimer is a senior. Maybe Omar Brown.
Yeah, there's a few decisions to be made. Like guys like Nash, they'll decide if he wants to come back, which, I think would be smart.
Yeah.
But there's a few. For the most part, like offensive line, we're going to be having a bunch of juniors become seniors, but we'll have a lot of those guys back for one more year.
Yeah. Now, what's Nash got to decide? Where's he going to go? Come back for what?
Nash?
Yeah.
He's a junior, right?
Yeah.
Was he? I've been hearing things about maybe he's thinking NFL. We'll see.
Man, Harrison, listen, man.
I'm saying stay for another year.
Listen, Nash.
It's kind of like the Garrett Nelson situation for me.
Listen, Nash has had a great year, and he's been consistent this year. He ain't going to the league. Whoever's talking about that's not it, and this is not even a knock on him. You have to look at it, and we'll get into this a little bit. Like, your best bet is to play college football in his situation as long as you can to get as best you can, because the NFL is not a run league. He's a run stuffer, but he's shown the ability to rush the passer. The better that you can get at, the more consistent that you can do it, the less they can say you're only a plugger at the nose position.
Mm-hmm.
And Nash has set himself up to get potentially looked at. But the problem what's been going around in Nebraska, when you talked about Garrett Nelson, these guys, like, listen, don't get caught up in this tidal wave here, man. You got to look at the whole landscape of college football and the way that the league is before you start trying to go up there, right? Because here's why. Okay. Cam Jurgens, Cam Taylor Britt made great decisions. You want to know why? Both of them are really good, phenomenal athletes and deserve to get drafted, and they would have got drafted whether they came back or not. The amount of centers that came out was very low, right? Now, last year, right, or this draft, right, because Cam Jurgens in his second year was very center heavy. You have to look at that. Cam Taylor Britt, same thing. Low on corners, supply and demand. It has nothing to do with really you playing. Now, when you got guys that really test out well and they got tape, that accentuated, and that's the right decision.
Like a Trey Palmer.
Right.
You just know you got enough tape where next level don't matter.
Yeah, or Trey would have been good to come, but I mean,
he would have been good to come back. But I think he's a guy where it's just like he's gonna find a route to the NFL.
Right.
How soon does he pop in the NFL? Maybe that's.
But he's doing well this yeyear.
Exactly.
Yeah, and maybe for him it was time, and sometimes like Malik Collins, he's just very frank. He's like, look, I got take care of some people. There's things bigger than football I got to do. You got a kid, married, and all that stuff. So those things go into it. But for Nash, I think for him, it's just to continue along the path and stay the focus and become better. The improvement that he's been able to make from last year to this year with this new weight regimen and being leaner, just imagine him another year.
Exactly. That's the thing that impresses me the most. He can move this year. He got a lot quicker.
And he can and
Campbell for what he's doing.
Yeah, and he has stamina. The meaning stamina in the sense that last year was like he was like 2 or 3 plays. And the thing is, everybody focused on the one play he didn't play well against Wisconsin. But he had been but he'd been holding his own for quite some time. And you got to give the staff some credit as well. They came in and looked at the roster and said, you know what, these are our guys, right? I mean, not granted, there were some decisions to be made, but mostly the guys that, stuck to it and said, you know what, we're going to make the defensively. Tony White said, listen, I'll find a way to do it. I was a little, because I didn't know enough about the 3-3-5. I talked to Kirk Morrison, who played at San Diego State in the 3-3-5. Once he told me about it and kind of told me about how it works and all that, I was like, okay, it could work in the Big Ten, right? Because I just didn't know. But the one thing that made me very comfortable about Tony White is when I looked at Syracuse, they had their nose guard was 5'10", like 265, 70 pounds. My man was a factor. That let me know that he could adapt his scheme to his personnel and that he would find a way for guys that made plays. Doesn't matter what you look like, all you cared about what you're doing on the field. And that's why you see the numerous amount of guys playing, right? And that's why you see guys that practice is such a big emphasis. But some guys are starting, some guys not. Some guys are black shirt. I mean,
we're seeing it all around, and certain guys like Williams getting more reps from his play. But even guys like Javen Wright, who we knew were going to play, but a system like this just fits him perfectly.
Right, and
really lets us use our length and just kind of get for a quarterback like Maryland. Obviously, he still had a pretty okay game, but that definitely slowed him down. Just having that much movement in the backfield, that's a lot of to read
body,
in the backfield.
Body length, tall.
Yeah.
And Javen Wright's just getting better. He's just scratching the surface. He showed that play he made.
He tipped it right for the interception. That he didn't get the interception, but I think he made the tip on that one.
He got the interception, the one on the sideline. Then he got the
that's right.
Yeah, he got the toe drag swag, and then he had he had some good plays in there. He had some good physical plays to tackling and stuff. So he's just scratching the surface, and so where they're at is good at defensively, but let's see if we can do it a little bit better. Let's see if we can go up and have a special game where the defense is just the only thing that we talk about. Kind of like how we're going to have to talk about the offense in the next segment, right? Unfortunately, but fortunately, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll delve into some of the details of the offense and what we could possibly look forward to here next week up in Madison. So this is Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll be right back. This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
If your home isn't delivering the year-round comfort you expect, call the experts at Bryant. Warm and cool, comfort and confidence. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Call 467-1111.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Leaves are falling and the temperatures are cooling down. But don't put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Leagues are underway with winter leagues beginning on November 27th. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate and team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf, inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Book a tee time today or learn more at Double Eagle Golf.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Power combo BOGO? Huh?
Yes. If you purchase an air conditioner, you receive a furnace completely free. At John Henry's, our professionals want to ensure you are comfortable in your home all year long, no matter what Nebraska has to throw at us. Call today to schedule your free estimate and learn more about the free furnace waiting for you. Give John Henry's a call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Aetrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Kreekak, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to Inside the Huddle, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging. Here is your host, Jay Foreman.
We're back. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Great place to go. Well, unfortunately, or fortunately for you, you'll get good help there and can help you try to put together a pretty clear and respectable game plan to tackle a lot of your physical needs. They do a lot of unique things. They do stuff with plantar fasciitis. Dr. Razdan does some very unique things with migraines and concussions as well. So I think not just for old beat up football players, but kids that are in sports, people that work, you know, when I go in there, I see everybody all the time. You know, it's bad, Harrison. When I go in there, like, oh, you're back. Yeah, I'm back. I just seen you 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I know. You know that. You know, so you don't want to be too friendly with them or too much of a regular, but sometimes that's what you need. But I got a text here from Farley. Farley's on the Facebook asking if I ever sleep. No, Farley, I don't be sleeping. We about to change that, my brother, because me and Harrison were just talking. We're gonna have to find a different time slot for Inside the Huddle, or to kind of pivot a little bit in what we do for Inside the Huddle. I guess as soon as the clock strikes or after the last Iowa game, so that'd be Saturday morning, or we probably might not even do one Saturday. So probably after this next game. So be on the lookout for that. A little bit of change when I ain't going nowhere. Got some ideas up there. Got some good ideas that we can take this to a bigger and better level. So appreciate the support. Everybody getting up early after wins and losses. Now Nebraska's 5-5, and so everybody's mad at the offense now. Man, you have a quarterback room that had 5 turnovers. Didn't throw the ball well. I don't know what the whole quarterback room was. I think it was like 8 for 20 or something and like 80 yards. It wasn't.
Let's find out here.
Yeah, what's the whole quarterback room?
Oh man. Okay, let me do it. I gotta do some quick math here.
It shouldn't be that
hard.
Man,
we're looking at. It's pretty bad. It's not as bad as I thought though. So we're looking at 10 for 22 overall, 2, 3, 4 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. 10 for 22, 4 picks, 0 touchdowns.
How many yards?
We're take a guess.
10 for 22.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm looking at 86 yards.
Yeah,
86 yards.
86.
Yeah. So I remember Heinrich Harburg was what, 1 for 5.
1 for 5, 0 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick.
Yeah. Obviously wasn't a highlight of a day. I will say this as far as the offense goes. I felt like the offense, that was probably like their, and now I don't know all their schemes, but I'm just saying, just from the eye test, I felt like the 5 guys blocking. That means the center, 2 guards, and 2 tackles. That was probably, and the coaches know better than me, but I felt like they blocked pretty decent last week against Michigan State in the conventional run game and the pass protection game for the most part. I felt like they did the same and even better this week. Pass protection. I mean, it was to the point that one time Jeff Sims had so much time, he just scrambled off to the right and he got a 3 or 4 yard gain when he went way to the right.
Mm-hmm. But
he could have went to, second, third, fourth option, So for them, I think that, for having Ethan Piper out for the season. Nuri was busted up for a little while. Turner Corcoran being out. Teddy Prohaska playing himself back into shape. Put in Justin Evans-Jenkins. Had Henry Latowski in there some. And then Ben Scott, he looked like he's a little banged up, but he's answering the bell. And then obviously Bryce Benhart. I think this is their best game.
Yeah, the protection's been good.
Yeah,
again, we just need a quarterback.
And the running game was pretty good. I think the conventional running game with Emmett Johnson, a little bit of Josh Fleeks, and even some of the stuff with Jeff Sims quarterback draws. I felt like they blocked pretty dang good.
Like, you really just need a quarterback. Take a breath back there when you have the protection. Like, I understand at this point in the season, we've seen kind of what they have throwing it, but just take a breather, relax, and like go through reads. If it's not there, chuck it and use your legs. Like, we just, it's kind of been bothering me this year. It's like it's not the pressure,
right?
It's just rushing your decisions.
I think it's a little bit of, I'm not making excuses for the quarterbacks, and I'm right along with you. I feel like I was talking to one of my friends last night, and he was like, "Oh, they're freshmen." Like, look, man, there's an old saying: once you get past like game 6, you ain't a freshman no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Malachi Coleman, Lloyd, like they ain't freshmen anymore. If Coleman drops the ball, I'm not going out there saying, well, he's a freshman.
Yeah, unfortunately,
expect him to catch it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the way it is now. They still are, in theory, freshmen. This is a long season for them. You got to think they would be just getting into playoff mode high school wise, right? The games in late October and November are a lot different than playing early in the season. The intensity, what's on the line, what you're playing for, and who you're playing against. And so that's just what they faced yesterday. But I think, for the quarterback's sake, you're right, where you just, want them to play pitch and catch, and let alone just not turn the ball over, right? Where you think like, okay, you can tell yourself an interception is like a punt. That is, in theory and factually, right. But in reality, it's not, because an interception is a momentum shift, right? Negative on your side because you will seen it, and then positive on their side, right? And so those are the things you also have to take into account. And, I think it's just constant. There's nothing else the coaches can do besides coach these guys to do the right things. That means harp on the footwork, harp on the reads, where you're going with it, why you're going with it. Doesn't matter if you're in the active play in practice. You have to be in tune to it. You can't have a mindset of, it doesn't affect me because I'm not participating in this practice. If there's ever a example of always be ready, it was yesterday, right? Heinrich Harburg, I didn't even see him get hurt. I saw him kind of limp off the field. I was like, oh, maybe he just got rolled up on, right? Well, then obviously he was bad enough. He went to the locker room, came back, and he definitely had a hitch in his giddy up. Okay, well, here comes Jeff Sims. Okay, Jeff Sims is, struggling a little bit or whatever. Well, Chubba Purdy, who probably hadn't got a lot of reps, I'm assuming.
I'm sure he was, doing scout team.
Yeah, but not getting a lot of reps, right? But you got to be ready. And is it fair to, is it ideally, what I mean by fair, sports isn't fair. Life's not fair. So getting thrown in there is like, you got to be able to survive. And it would have been a great story if we were able to stick that touchdown in, and Chubba was able to come essentially resurrect himself and win that game.
We do have one from the text line here from 0628 talking exactly about that play. Purdy came in with hair on fire to get that close and then make him try to pass. Would you kick the field goal and let the D finish the game?
Well, yeah, in hindsight, sure.
At that moment, were you still thinking? Do you have any?
Well, do we want to get into this play?
We can.
You want to get into it? But I'm asking you, want to get into this play?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I'm just asking because, well, here's the deal. It's a man play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here, let's, before we get in this conversation, I understand, I agree on both sides, right? This is not being a politician. I understand and agree, and I probably, I can see why you would run, right? But you're playing to win the game, right? It's no different than Nebraska in like 82 or something like that. They could have kicked the field goal and tied the game and won the national championship. You wanted to win the game. They dropped it. The greatest coach here is went for it and not got it. Okay. So I can understand and I can agree with you that we could run the ball or should have ran the ball and say, you know what? We need the points. We'll have the momentum. Let's kick the ball off, most likely through the end zone, right? And they got to go 60 yards or something. All right, that's fine. But the reality is, guess what happened? We called a pass play. Okay, so let's look at the pass play. Okay, was it executed the right way? Right? It's pretty much a China route, right? And we used to face this all the time. Sometimes we'd, run a little bit of cover 2 in the red zone or just cover 4 or man, right? It's a corner route with an in route, China, right? In the corner would yell China. Well, it's man to man. He's covering him.
Right.
Number one, for the China route to work, number one has got to win right now. It's got to be Ginsu, get off the ball, 1-2, bang, essentially a slant, right? Because you got to clear it out of zone. And then the corner route is got to go to, if you go back and watch the play, Harrison, if you pull it back up, you got to throw the ball to the end. So when you have the end there in Nebraska, it's got to be at that triangle of the end,
okay,
or to the pylon. In my opinion, I felt like the route he cut it. Billy Kim ran it pretty much it was too close, because what you want to do is make that corner make a decision, and then if he fluffs off too much when you win, essentially that's open. If he comes down hard, the 7 cut is open. So we didn't win here, and I don't think, got enough depth here. So in my opinion, this is my opinion. And then the quarterback threw it. I don't know. He threw it like behind him, right?
Yeah, just looked like you said, miscommunication. I think they both thought that play was going to run a little differently in their heads.
Sure,
wide receivers,
and that's because there hasn't been any continuity there. Okay, and that's the byproduct of injuries, of Marcus Washington, IGC, and running backs have been hurt. I mean, all of it goes into it. But we're just going to deal with the factual play. We didn't win. We didn't win. We didn't win. Right? And that's why I look at it. So, yeah, you could look at it, but also I could say like this. I could go on from a coach's perspective. Okay, we went for it. Heck, we've shown the ability to fumble down there, right? And they still went down and got kicked a field goal. So our job is to keep them out of field goal range, because there was enough time to stop them and get the ball back and potentially get a game win. They drove the ball systematically down the field. Now, you don't want them to you'd rather them drive. And I will say this, it's different for an offense to drive after you turn the ball over versus driving the ball and they have to get a field goal because they're down by 3. It is a totally different mindset, because at the worst case scenario, as a play caller, if I'm Maryland, we go into overtime. So you're essentially, I call it, you're playing with house money. Unless you throw a pick 6 or something you're right. And so, say you drive it all the way down there and there's 15 seconds left and you stall out on the 30-yard line. All right. Chances are you going to, unless Nebraska hits a huge play in that first play, they're not going to get in field goal range. You get what I'm saying? So in that sense, yes, you'd like to be up by 3. You'd like to take the points. But also I'd like to say that, okay, well, just say, for instance, okay, let's just play devil's advocate. This did not happen. So just make sure just say I'm the head coach, Harrison. You're the offensive coordinator. And I say, Harrison, I want you to throw the ball. No, coach, I want to run it. No, I'm the head coach. Throw it. What's your best pass play? Right?
Yeah.
The play is packed. Right. We have got to execute every single play to the mat. And those are the details, right? Just because you're guarding me one-on-one, I've got to win. I said it yesterday on the post-game show, right? For this team in these next 2 weeks, every practice, every meeting, every meal, every time you're in the weight room, every time you're recovery, the mindset has to be, it's 4th and 1, and I've got to have it. Because if you have that mentality and you create that pressure, both individually within yourself and collectively, defensively, and in the group, right? Then when you get out there, it's just second nature, because there is no playoff. Our error for margin on offense is razor thin, and it's getting thinner because the games mean more. So that means every single play has got to be 4th and 1. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know what that means, Harrison? When you show up to work, your sphincter muscle needs to be tight. You know, and everybody got to think, why are you in a bad mood? Because we losing. Okay. Anything else? Right?
Yeah, you got to stay
Right.
locked in.
Yeah, I ain't
Especially-
getting a haircut. I might not even take a shower. How you like that? You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to be here and be in a bad mood and just be funky. Now, how you like that? So if you want to win, then you got to get with me and then I'll take a shower. How about that?
That's pretty good attitude because
Right.
you got Wisconsin and Iowa.
Right.
Those are a couple
Right.
teams that you want to be nasty walking
Right.
in there.
Yeah, I'm coming out there, breath stinking, face I'm just looking like a mangy old like coyote or something. You know what I mean? Malnourished. I'm just going to just feast on you real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, heck, when you go to Wisconsin, they do. Now I will tell you about Madison. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this real. You know what? We're gonna go to break. I'm gonna tell you about my last experience in Madison.
All right.
Harrison, it'd be a little bit of a joke. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle. We'll be right back. This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Logo? Huh?
Yes, if you purchase an air conditioner, you receive a furnace completely free. At John Henry's, our professionals want to ensure you are comfortable in your home all year long, no matter what Nebraska has to throw at us. Call today to schedule your free estimate and learn more about the free furnace waiting for you. Give John Henry's a call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Whether you're booking a trip to Lincoln for a football game or a volleyball weekend, the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus is the place for you. The Scarlet Hotel is special on many levels, from the delicious Well and Good restaurant on the main floor to the coolest rooftop patio bar in Lincoln, the Barred Owl, on the top floor of the hotel with great views of the city and one of the coolest drink menus. Book your stay or book a staycation today at scarlethotelnebraska.com.
I could write a commercial telling you how great waffle weekends are at the chocolate season. Or I could just have Rico read you the menu.
Banana Nutella. Nutella topped Belgian waffle with homemade whipped cream, chocolate chips, and freshly sliced bananas. Baconator. Buttermilk waffle with bacon slices tucked inside, topped with salted whipped butter, caramelized pecans, and pure maple syrup.
Waffle weekend brunches at the chocolate season.
PB&J.
40th and Old Genie or online at thechocolateseason.com.
It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
It's football season, and that means coaches everywhere are busy making game plans. I'm Matt Knipe with Liberty Law Group. Teams make game plans because no two opponents are the same. At Liberty Law, we understand that no two cases are the same. Whether facing a DUI, criminal charge, or you were injured and it wasn't your fault, we tailor our legal game plan to meet your unique needs. We are relentless trial attorneys serving all of Nebraska. To learn more, go to libertylawnebraska.com. That's libertylawnebraska.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
You're listening to Inside the Huddle with Jay Foreman, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
We're back. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, putting the bow on that Maryland game. Huskers fall 13-10 on to Wisconsin. Up there in 6:30 at night, prime time, jump around. Probably be a little chilly. But definitely I think it's worth the trek up there to support the Huskers because, I was telling somebody also last night, this is the team that will go up there and then play the game that they should play and beat the brakes off of them. Really, to be honest with you. So, it's a great opportunity. Look, man, I understand we're 5-5 and we were 5-3 2 weeks ago and hadn't played up to our capabilities or finished. I think the big thing that I'd be preaching to my team when I just said in the last segment, everything's got to be 4th and 1. Along with that, we got to be more competitive and we got to finish everything. I mean, finish. This is not time to cut corners. We got to really sharpen the corners. But I mentioned before my last time up, that the only time I've ever been to Madison, besides when I was getting recruited there, I went up there when Nebraska was there. I think Bo Pelini was coach. I went up there and Harrison, and so there was a night game. You got up early and you go downtown, you want to see campus, and so you're there. You kind of post up in a sports bar because you're going to watch the early games and all that. Well, then you start drinking, and they had a beer up there called Spotted Cow, kind of real light. I'm not a big drinker, but it's light.
Yeah, I've heard about Spotted Cow.
Right. Jake Sorensen brought me back case and stuff.
And that's really popular up there.
It
right?
is.
Yeah.
Well, another thing they have up there is bratwurst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they were good. And at whatever place, I forget where we were at, Harrison, I think I consumed 18 bratwurst that day.
Oh God, yeah.
Because Harrison, at 9:30, 10 o'clock, and the game's not till 6:30. You got sober. You got to eat. Your beer to food ratios got to add up so you're not hammered, right?
Yeah.
And then the game, you're up to like midnight. So that's 18 is being conservative.
Did it go down? You feel fine after 18?
Not in a row, but just throughout the day.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, but they were good. Now they weren't like big ones or nothing, but it was, and then it was like, oh, I don't want this much bread, so I was just eating the bratwurst and stuff like that. And we moved to another place and I started to get a little tipsy. So then I had to,
double down on
bratwurst. Now it was great when I was there. It was actually great when I got back the Sunday, because you drive back. That next week, the bratwurst, was 5-0. You know what the five wins were? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Jay Foreman was taking gut punches from the bratwurst. That was it, Harrison. That's my joke about Madison. Listen, I had a good time. The fans were, not the best, but thank you for the Spotted Cow. I even say thank you for the bratwurst. Keep me up and upright. But
you think it was the Spotted Cow or the bratwurst?
No, it was the bratwurst. It was the bratwurst because I didn't even drink. You know what I mean? I had a couple mixed drinks and stuff like that. Right. So the bratwurst was too good. And when you get in the moment, and it was a competitive game until Russell Wilson and J.J. Watt and what was the dude? What's the guy that running back that went to Denver and got in a whole bunch of trouble? It was actually James White and the other dude, Monty Ball, start twerculating on us. Then I was like, I need to just drink and eat more just because I just want to. And then they had the Wisconsin band going through there. So I was just trying to go into another place. Too many bratwurst, and I felt it next week. So that's my story. Little lighthearted fun there.
Wisconsin's got that trap for those things though. They got the beer, the cheese, the bratwurst. Like you're gonna indulge if you're up there.
You know what that's called? You know what that's called, Harrison? For your stomach? That's called a goal line stand. Everything's gonna be. That's what you call it. You know, if you have a spotted cow, bratwurst, and Wisconsin cheese, that's called a goal line stand.
Yeah, give it 30 minutes, you'll be at the goal line.
You're gonna be at the goal line. Anyways, man, good segment or good show. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We will win next week. We'll get the job done. Jay Foreman, Harrison, Inside the Huddle, Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Pete Ferguson is next. We'll holler at you next week.